Hey guys, welcome back to the Trace Trade Sunday live stream. Once again, we're just going to be going over our weekly watch list and then maybe some broad market thoughts. And then the people in the stream are going to have some Q&A. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click the link in the description so you could join our server and watch these streams live and participate in the Q&A with everyone else. These streams are entirely free and they are open to everyone. But let's get started going into the weekly watch list. First we have AAL, nice little airline play to have in case we see some more rotation into travel with the stimulus being out and everything. What's interesting about AAL is that we have a little bit of a gap here back from our initial dropping, like back in COVID times. So we have a nice little gap above. We also have a gap below from this recent gap up. So what we're going to do, we're going to trade this range. And then if we break above, we're going to go long and try to fill that gap. And if we break below, we could even go short and fill this smaller gap below. Next we have DMTK. Just what looks like a very, very nice technical play. Looks like we're about to break this wedge here. We got the 50 SMA underneath for support. And it's been holding this 50 relatively well. That's how we sort of know we could rely on it here. It also had pretty high volume on Friday, which is nice to see as it goes to touch this upper trend line and reclaiming all of our moving averages. So we're going to see how it works on Monday. Probably best case scenario is we get a little retest against this trend line and this like 55-50 level. That would be fantastic for us to go long and try to capture more of this move up here. Something we do have to be worried about is if it comes down, let me get a paintbrush. If it comes down like this, for the H here, that would invalidate the setup, but as of right now, we are looking good, and we will see how we move on Monday for entries. Next, we have Facebook. It's been in this sort of channel wedge formation for quite some time now, and it looks like we're finally starting to get a nice solid breakout with volume. Again, if we look on Friday, very, very nice volume. So what we're really looking for here is a continuation. Again, if we get a nice little retest on this high pivot right here, which is 286.79, so within that range, if we get a nice little retest, it lines up with these two candles here, that would be fantastic. Facebook also had a ton of call flow coming in this past week, so it might be that options investors are expecting more upside to this name. We also have GM. We already have a GM position, but we're looking at it for more short-term plays, maybe expand on those 416s. And what we're really looking at here is just some very, very constructive building into newer highs. So as we get these pullbacks and then nice strong bounces up and then continuation. Pullbacks and then a nice strong bounce up. And we're looking for a continuation candle here. But what I'm really looking for entries on this name is a touch of this 20 SMA here. It's that dark blue one. Third one from the bottom. If we get a touch there, I would be very, very comfortable holding or going long, or a touch on this 57 level that we have here. Either of those plays, I'd be very, very happy going long. And we have this nice little 67 price target all the way up here. Google is another name that I'm very comfortable adding at these levels. We just have this nice little range here. If we take a look at the weekly, it's easier to see too. Very, very strong candle. And then just some range building. You could even draw this as a flag. I just feel that's forcing it a little bit. But we have this nice little consolidation range. If we break to the upside, that's some very, very nice building into it. And we should likely see a nice strong push. And if we break below, again, we have this nice little gap below that we can trade puts to fill. However, I think it is much more likely that we do go upside here. We have the 50 SMA coming through strong. Even if you want to start a position on Monday, we're at like the bottom of the range here, so I feel like that would be a solid place to start, and just use your stop as some of the lows of the candles over here. Next we have GRWG. This is another cannabis stock, and I was debating drawing a line on this chart, but I felt like any line that I drew would kind of be forcing it. What we're really looking at here is just some constructive buying towards the upside. You could even debate that there is inverse head and shoulders opportunity here, which is true. But really what I really like about this name is just this nice little range we're building above the 50 SMA. If it could break this range, I feel like it's very, very likely that it sees probably at minimum this like 60 and then upper all-time highs possibly. Next we have lift. For the lift, I'm going to switch to the 2-hour chart just so we could see this nice little formation building on the 2-hour. And if we switch back to the daily, we could see that it's breaking these highs and then pushing more, pulling back, breaking highs and pushing more. Again, this is just very, very constructive buying. It's what we're seeing. Also, something to notice on lift is volume has been steadily decreasing while also staying within this range. So when volume dries up like this and it's lining up with a technical break, it's likely that we see more volume flood in, and that'll allow us to push to even higher and higher levels. Next we have Neo. What I'm really watching for Neo is this like 4630 level we have up here. So we got this nice little flag building. If you want to add on the lowers of the flag, I feel like that's completely fine as well. But I'm waiting till we get a nice strong push to this upper level here, and that'll allow us to push again, maybe to this channel all the way up here. Next we have Penn. Penn got news of S&P inclusion on the evening of the, what was it? I think it was the 14th. So since the 15th, it's been seeing like pretty steady volume, and then Friday just had a monstrous candle. I cannot talk. But we also bounced off the 50 very nicely here. This is looking very, very similar to how Tesla moved when it was included in the S&P. So that's a nice thing to see for us considering going long. Again, if you want to play off the 50, I feel like now is a very, very nice time to add. Otherwise, if you want to play off some levels, there's a 111.50 level here that I really like, and then the upper range of this consolidation, which would be like 121. So you could either buy above 121 or play against that 111 support. We also have QS. Very, very nice coil here. Again, like you have a larger sort of build that it had before, and then you could draw like technically where this wedge would be. I like this line a lot better because it's more short term. And what I like about this one is even after bouncing off the top trend line here, it held up reasonably the next few days. So if we could see another push to this upper trend line, that's a lot higher high. And I think that would break and then send us to this upper 72 level. Tesla's getting a little tricky at these levels because there's two scenarios I could see playing out. One is we come down and we H against this like 540 level, or we see an inverse head and shoulders and it comes back up. Either way, neither of the setups have been validated yet, so we're going to play it relatively slowly. Where'd we go? We're going to play it relatively slowly. I'm going to throw an alert on this candle's low right here. And if we break below here, I'll be targeting the lower 540s. If we bounce off here, I'll be waiting for the break around 710, and then we could play upside there. And then lastly, we have W. Again, I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see this one better. Just a very, very nice wedge trend break, and then we're pushing up. You see a little bit of what I was talking about with lift, with volume sort of drying up and then flooding in once we break. A little bit of what we're seeing here. So I expect some continuation. Again, if we get some retests against this like 325.40 level, that'd be fantastic. Allow us to get our contracts for a little bit cheaper. But otherwise, watch these candles highs for areas of resistance, which is a great time to scale your position. So that's all for individual names. Going into specifics about the broad market, if we look at SPY here, we're actually still in our nice little channel that we have. And if we look at sort of the rejecting that we were doing like over the last month or so, it's actually lining up with this upper trend line here to maybe bounce off of as support. So that's something I'm definitely watching to see more buying flooding in. Also, of course, this channel that's been keeping us relatively safe as we sort of experience a lot more chop than we're used to in the market. Pulling up the Qs. The Qs, nothing's really changed here. I'm going to get rid of this line because I think it's too steep. Nothing's really changed here. The Qs actually look very, very similar to how I'm thinking about Tesla. So again, we got this possible inverse head and shoulders here. Or the other possibility, which is just we come down and we H. Now, what I really like about the Qs is that we held our little 312 level here. which is nice. I like to see that. I really want to see some more pull off of this level, especially because these MAs are converging very, very fast. So if it stays at this level too long, I'm going to actually expect it to break, and we'll probably see lower 300s on that. But if we could pull away, retake some of these MAs, maybe even the 50, I feel like 326 is very, very achievable. So that's all for the recorded portion. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click the link in the description so you can join the server and participate in Q&A. Also join these live streams as they are happening and participate in our chat. Thank you.